So it has been a while since I've done a video. So today I decided that I would show you and take you along on how to dress up a window. I am currently in a remodel project for a church, doing a little bit of touch up for them. It's a church I actually go to, but I will show you, turn the camera around and show you the things that I'm doing. Actually, I'll just show you this way. So this window used to just be a regular rounded drywall corner. Same with this window over here. This is going to be the church's new office. So we built this half wall, repainted everything in here, did new flooring, and we got cabinets coming in here soon that we're going to hang up. Maybe I'll show you how to do that as well. But today's video is about how to dress up these windows from the regular drywall corners to the nice trim corners that they are now. It's a little bright there, but I'll get you a little detailed view here in a second. So let me show you, walk into the other room and show you what the windows used to look like, and then we'll get started. Okay, coming into the room that I'm working on, I had the camera turned around towards myself, but I just could not see the sun was so glaring. So anyways, this is the window that we are going to trim out. So as you notice, we got a bull-nosed corner, orange peel texture. This is the church's nursery. And we're gonna trim it out and then put new blinds in here. So we need to get a board that will fill in the gap from here to here, and then we'll add the trim on the face all the way around. I'll show you how to do the miter cuts and all that as well. We want the reveal to be the same on every window, and so on the other windows, I'll show you what I've done. Is there's this reveal here. It's different on every window just because of the remodel. This church has been built in segments, and so not everything is the same. So, but we're going to unify that by building a box first, and then trimming out the box, and then we'll nail the box completely as one unit to the wall, and then we'll add in some blinds. So this is beautiful northern Idaho, and so the views are amazing through the windows, even in town. But anyways, I'll get started. I'll show you the materials that I'm using, and then we will start putting it together. Okay, coming into the supply room, let me take my earplugs out. I was just about to cut something, and then I realized my measurements were different than I planned. So the window measurement comes out to 7 3/8 as shown in this picture here. And then I will be using these materials here on the table to do that. Let me turn the camera around and get you going again. Here are the materials. This is a 1x8 pine board. It is pre-primed, so it comes white, which is nice. It is approximately 7 1/4, I believe. Yep, 7 1/4 wide by 3/4 inches thick. We're gonna use that as the box to build the frame for the window. And then we're gonna use this trim, which is 3.5 inch plain trim. And we'll use miters on the corners. I'll show you this window here. So on the inside of the window, we're gonna use that big board to cover this space here, making it reveal the same as I mentioned all the way around. This one is almost finished, just a little bit more sanding and painting to do to finish it up. And then we'll use a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around, symmetrical as possible, with the mitered corner like I said. Then we'll fill it with either caulking or a nail filler, and then sand it and paint it. So it'll be all nice and fresh all the way around, and then we'll add some nice blinds later on. But anyways, I'm gonna cut these 1x8s down to size, and then we'll make the box together. I'll show you how to nail it together and how to do the measurements and how to install it. So here we go, let's cut these down. Okay, so here we are at the saw again. I've got the measurements for the window. I went and measured it. This is what the box is gonna look like. It's gonna have 2 long pieces on the side, which will go all the way from the bottom of the window to the top, and then connecting them together will be a board on the bottom and a board on the top. These are the measurements I got, so I'm gonna cut those down to size. So as a recap, what we did there is we took a board full length, we cut a clean edge with the saw right here on the end of the fresh board. Then we measured over the distance we needed, made a mark, cut it, and what I did was I took the long one and the short one and cut it out of one board just to save as much as possible. When you do this window, you understand why I did that. And then I took the other board, did the same thing, cut a fresh end, cut both the measurements I need. And so now I've got the boards all cut to size. Now I can put them in the window and mark them. I'll show you how to do that in a second. This is a miter saw on a stand. You can do it with less fancy stuff, just with a regular straight edge and a saw, and just cut it. You can cut it by hand if you don't have the saw as well. All doable by hand. You don't even need air compressor, nailer, all that stuff I have. You can do it by hand. But one thing I wanted to show you, I have this miter saw connected to a vacuum, which I turned on before I cut the saw. It still doesn't pick up all the dust because it's an older vacuum and all that stuff. But since I'm inside of the church building and the HVAC system, the heating and air is kicking on and off, we don't want all that dust being sucked through the ventilation system. And so I have a vacuum, I turn it on, then I cut the material and good to go. So let's take these over to the room, mark them, and then we'll assemble them. Here are the boards we just cut. This is the shorter board because the window is wider than it is tall. But what we've done is we've taken these boards, we put them in place. Since this is an imperfect seal, which I mean most are, like you can tell the gap there, we want to make it as perfect as possible. So we put that in there and we're gonna make up the difference by not having it measure. It's pretty nice. You put the board in there, we made a mark right where we want it. This is where the seal is there. And up here, we're gonna make that mark, then we'll take a straight edge and make a mark across. And then when we add these boards in between, we can line up this end on the mark and we'll nail straight through to this board. So we got it all marked, so we'll take them out, mark the line with the square, and then assemble them. Also forgot to mention that I'm going to mark what is left and right. So this one is going to be right, because it's the right side of the window, using a pencil. And then I'm putting an arrow pointing up, meaning this is the right side, and that's the up side. So this side, we're gonna do L for left, arrow for up. That way we don't get them all backwards and then it's all out of square and it looks terrible. I have to knock it apart, pull the nails, redo it, all that jazz. So right, left, up. Then you pull out your pencil and your straight edge, stick it on that line that we marked in the window. Do it. This is called a speed square. It makes a perfect 90-degree angle, also 45 if you ever need it. So you take that mark it on there like so. And that's where we're gonna line those boards up. So I'll mark the rest of those real quick and we'll get started. Okay, so we've got all the boards cut down to size. We got the right board, R up, pointed that direction there. Take L up, pointed up. And then I've got the two long boards. One will go there and one will go back here. So as you'll see, we have the line down there. You probably won't see it because it's a little too bright. But we're gonna line it up on that line and nail from one side to the other, just like so. Take a nailer. This is an 18 gauge finished nailer connected to a jack compressor in the hallway, so hopefully you don't hear as much. And we'll nail it together. Sides, and as soon as that's done, we'll put the trim together. Now that we're all nailed together, let me explain again. So at each corner they're different because that window seal isn't level, as you can tell. It kind of goes downhill that way. It's a whole bunch of different geometries. But we don't worry about that because we're trying to make it square with the window. So what those marks do, by marking it there, 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 and there, it gives us a square on the boards. So even though the reveal here isn't on the corner there, that's not a big deal because we're worried about this inside here. On this side, the line actually is like down here. I had to move it up because this board can't stick out past this board. So I'm making it flush, best of both worlds. And then also you'll see it there. That's not a mistake. Once I slide it in, you'll understand. So let's pick this up and put it in. Here it is installed. Let me show you what I mean by the marks. So now that we marked it there, this board lines up perfectly with this. These boards are flush with the window here, up there, so it's a perfect square, even though there's a gap right there because of the unlevelness of the window. Over here is all the way to the bottom basically because it has no more space below there to go down any further. So even though the reveal isn't quite perfect there, that is not a huge deal. Our next plan Next goal is to trim around it. And then recommendation, if this space right here is a gap, when you go to nail this down, you want to put some spacers underneath that up here. Even though you're going to put the trim around, which will support it, this length of a board is pretty long. So if anybody ever sit up here or something, it may push it down. So when you nail it, maybe shim underneath of it if it has too much space, but this one's going to be perfect. If I push down and nail it right there, it'll hold. So let's go get the measurements. From here to here, we know the measurements, so we're going to add 1/4 for the reveal on this side, 1/4 for the reveal on that side, and do our miters on each side. So we'll add a total of 1/2 inch to the length of that board to make our bottom board, top board, and then we'll do 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch longer. So this board will be a total of 1/2 inch longer as well on the inside miter. It'll make sense when we put it all together. But let's get that assembled, and then we'll take this back down, nail our boards onto it, and I'll show you how to fasten it to the walls. So here are the measurements for the mitered trim boards. Man, it always sounds like it's echoing when I got my earplugs in. Take those babies out. So we know the measurement of those long boards, a little close. We're 44.5 inches. So I'm adding 1/4 each side, which would make this long top and bottom board 45 inches. So 44.5 plus 1/2 inch is 45. Went and measured the tall because we don't know those because of these measurements. The measurement was 38 3/8. So we're adding 1/2 inch to that. So it's 38 7/8. So I'm gonna go ahead and make these miter cuts. We'll take them over there and install them. Here we go. Okay, if you got all your measurements correct, your picture frame around your box should fit perfectly. Thankfully mine did, so I don't have to confess anything. But a few pointers here is I nailed the ends and I nailed the middle. That way we keep that board exactly on that 1/4 inch reveal that I want. Another thing I do, which I haven't done yet, is I nail the corner from here into there, locking these together. That way they are on the same plane and they don't move when you nail on the wall as much. So again, nail from usually the side that's visible, less visible, like the bottom is the best place to nail. Because if you nail from the side, you have another nail hole to fill. But if you have a nail on the bottom and a nail from the top down, you're never gonna see them. Even though you're gonna paint over, you probably won't see them anyways. So nail those together, and then once you get it up in place, you nail it some more. So let's get it nailed in the corners, and then I'll throw it up there. There she is. Okay, well, we have a few more things to do, like that bracket and that bracket where the old blinds used to be on. I mean, the old decorative thing. I'm not even sure what that's called. I gotta move them because they're behind the boards, but we'll take those off and we'll nail this in. A few things to point out. If you have a nail, say you're nailing in here, and your nail decides to pop out, not the end of the world. So say like this little nail here, no matter how hard you aim, sometimes it'll hit something hard and pop out. Take a pair of channel lock pliers, grab the end of it, bend it back and forth, it'll break off, and then you can fill that little hole with some wood putty. And then also, it just looks so good. I don't even know what I was gonna say, doesn't matter. So we'll take that back out, take those off, and then I will show you how to finish off with the nailing, and that'll be it for the day. Got my blue handled pliers, and I'm gonna attempt to show you how to fix this one-handed. So take your blue handled pliers, grip the little nail end, bend it back and forth a few times. Sometimes they're a little stubborn. So keep bending it back and forth. Eventually, it will break off, just like that. Then all you gotta do, put a little filler in there, good to go. So as for the nailing, I got my nailer all over here, And I've got the window in place. My goal now is to line up the edges. It's nice and flush. So you'll see it needs pushed over just a little bit that way. So I'll push it, and I'm gonna try to match the nails. Even though I'm covering these nails, I'll put one there. This holds this to the frame, and then go over here, I'll nail this one to the wall. That way the nails are in the same pattern. And then when I come in to nail this, I'll nail one here and one there, and I'll match the nails all the way around so it holds it into place. Not only is a box nailed to the trim, but the trim is nailed to the wall. So that is overall the complete thing. Thanks for watching, and I'm glad that you watched the whole video through. Congratulations, thank you very much. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, besides maybe wearing safety glasses, I should have done that, but now it'll bother you if you ever watch it again. But anyways, leave your comments down below, positive. You can leave your negative comments too if you want to, but I don't like those, so don't leave them. But anyways, so if you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below in the comments, and please like it, subscribe, tell your friends all about me, and hopefully get this channel to grow a little bit. Even with the sporadic videos, I'm hoping to do more. Practicing, got a better camera. I even got a tripod now, so this is great. So anyways, catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.